Hey everyone, last spring I found myself in New York City's Central Park. Of course, the lakes, the landscapes, and the flowers were amazing. And I'd always heard it was a huge park, but I never expected the diversity of activities that I found there. Now there's very typical things that you see in Central Park, but a truck and a horse trailer would not be one of them. But a horse is exactly what I wanted to have to explore this part of Manhattan. A few years ago, the Historic Claremont Riding Academy closed down, and New Yorkers felt like they may never see riders in the park again. But thanks to the Riverdale Equestrian Center, a 150-year tradition continues. $100 an hour may seem kind of steep, but it's a semi-private ride, and you get your own tour guide. His name is George. He's not a cowboy, but he loves New York.
I live about 10 minutes from where the stable is, and when I was a kid, I used to ride there. Got married, obviously, met my wife Mary, had a couple of sons, went to work in construction for 40 years. I retired 3 years ago. I rode throughout those years, taking the kids to the dude ranches. You know, I was a hacker. During the falls, I started hanging around, and the same old thing, you know, help out, get a free ride. And 3 years ago, when I did retire from the union construction, I was going to get a job actually at a supermarket. I had a friend of mine who was going to give me a job at Trader Joe's. Long story short, the owner of the stable, you know, he found out about it and he said, George, come and work here for me. So I stayed in the stable doing odd jobs, trail rides, pony parties, etc. And 2 years ago, when this opened up, September will be 2 years, they needed somebody. And it kind of fell in my lap. It's the greatest job in the world, you know.
As far as safety goes, every one of these horses was solid as a rock.
Just wave quietly. Quiet.
All in all, George kept us safe and well informed.
Okay, this is called the Museum Mile from 104th Street, which is the El Viario Museum, Spanish museum. 103rd is the Museum of the City of New York. I'll show you the building that Jackie Kennedy Onassis lived in. They named the reservoir after her because legend has it that she used to come out every morning and run around the reservoir. Harold Monroe lived there one time. I think Faye Dunaway has an apartment there now. These are the ultra-modern buildings, the ultra-rich buildings here. I tell everybody it's park front property is compatible to like ocean front property anyplace else in the world.
Wow, in an hour's time, I learned so much about museums, history, and just about the beauty of the park itself, all from the back of a horse. How fantastic is that? Riding in Central Park definitely makes my list of the most unusual and interesting places to ride. And hopefully seeing George and the Riverdale Equestrian Center horses on 96th Street becomes just as much a tradition as the Claremont was.